Hey, it's Marina, travel experta. Today we're going to be talking about Semuc Champey of Guatemala. Are you guys ready for an adventure? Let's begin. Semuc Champey is considered to be one of Guatemala's most iconic nature beauty spots to visit. It is this hidden spot that's in the heart of the country in the Alta Verapaz region. So I want to tell you a really interesting story, a funny story about Semuc Champey and me. I first arrived to this area about 21 years ago when it was very uninhibited. There was very few places to stay, a lot of camping. It was just kind of being discovered as compared to is now. And I was staying in one of these tiny little cabins in Lanquin. I have an entire podcast about Lanquin and what to do in Lanquin because it is a must visit town as well, especially when you are in this region. Anyways, back then, just to get to Lanquin, it was all dirt roads. Today, it's pretty easy to get to Lanquin, beautiful roads. Semuc Champey from Lanquin is still a dirt road, but it will never change because they want to keep that essence of it. So back then, 21 years ago, Semuc Champey is located about 11 kilometers from Lanquin. And everybody was like, oh, you walk to Semuc Champey. It's so easy. You just walk to it, no problem. We all walk there. There's hardly anybody that ever goes there, so you have to walk there. So me and one of my friends, we wanted to see Semuc Champey because of all the hype about Semuc Champey. And we started on this walk. Even though I was in my mid-20s, it was blistering hot out, and I am not one for a hiker, especially going up and down hills. This was 11 kilometers of being in the scorching sun, up and down and up and down, and I was miserable. All I kept on thinking about is, oh my God, when is this coming up? And then once I get there, I have to walk all this way back. I was absolutely miserable. There was nothing fun about it for me at all. I literally got the information. It's kind of like, when you talk to somebody who's climbed Mount Everest, if walking up, a little hill is going to be an easy thing to do, and they're going to say, for sure, I could run it up. But if you talk to somebody who's barely ever hiked, they're going to say, like, no, this is not right. So I was getting my information about how easy this walk was from the wrong people. We finally arrived to Semuc Champey, and I was so miserable and just freaking out because all I knew is that I had to walk back, which was not an easy feat. You have to go up and down regardless if you're going there or back. And I was miserable for over an hour. Finally, these two guys came around and we started talking to them, me and my friend, because I was just all pissed off. And they're like, oh, we have a pickup. We could drive you back. And all of a sudden, my eyes opened to the beauty that was in front of me. And that's my reality of Semuc Champey. It is this unbelievable, beautiful, huge watering hole, kind of like a huge waterfall that leads into a river. It's crystal clear blue because of the minerals in the rock formations all around there. And you go swimming there, diving, jumping. I mean, the place is absolutely magnificent. So because of the ride back, I was just happy and was able to truly enjoy it completely. Today, things are very different. First of all, this is now my third time coming back. The second time we came back, I was actually pregnant with our second son. So it was me, my husband, and at that point, our 6-year-old son. And when I first went to Semuc Champey, all I saw was the swimming holes where you go swimming. And then we were told, oh, there is a mirador. I was 5.5 months pregnant, and we're like, okay. And everybody's like, oh, the mirador is just a little bit high. It's just up there. It's just up there. So we started on the trail going up. And after 10, 15 minutes, and it was really hot again, I'm like, how much longer? And everybody's like, oh, it's only a few more minutes, a few more minutes. So over an hour going straight up, we were sweating, hot, and I was pregnant, so I was extra uncomfortable. And again, I was not a happy camper until we finally got to the Mirador. And the Mirador is just breathtaking. So if you think being in the swimming holes is beautiful, it's nothing compared to seeing them from probably over 2,000 feet above ground. It is a must do mirador. We came back again 12 years later, my youngest, the son that was pregnant, I was pregnant with, is now 12 years old. And so now it's a very different system. There are several ways to get to Semuc Champey now. That's how easy it is. Before, when my son was 6, my oldest was 6, we drove there. The road is really difficult. You do need a 4x4. So remember that it is not an easy road. It will never change. So we didn't really look for the other options because the road is just getting worse due to not being fixed, and also the rainy season, and also because Lankeen really wants to maintain the essence of it, mainly because it's also become a really big business. So today you could do several ways of getting to Semuc Champey. One is you could hire a private driver. We paid $60 round trip. It was a 4x4 pickup. It was incredible. Took us there, waited for us as long as we wanted to be there, and took us back. $60 flat rate for us. Or you could do these colectivos. There's these um, they're just shared ways of getting there, basically shared shuttles. You do have to get into the center of town to get them, and they're like $4 each way. And they do pile on quite a lot of people, but they do run regularly. It depends on the time. Nothing is regular here, right? You're in the middle of Guatemala, where regular doesn't really mean much, but it does go often, probably twice per hour, and the same for returning back from there as well. So that's a really great option. Another one is the majority of hotels and hostels have um, tours. They are shared tours, not private tours, or even just shared transportation that you could sign up with as well. So make sure that you check that out with a place that you are staying in. They all pretty much offer the same thing. So as I said, it's really easy to get to now. So Semuc Champey, there are, I would say, 3 things that you could really do there. One is tubing. A lot of people go tubing. There's this river that you could go through tubing around there. It's a pretty big deal. You do need to organize that beforehand. So make sure you talk to your hotel or find an online tour operator that does manage that. But the main things is once you enter the park, and the park is about $6 per person to enter. Once you're there, it's the swimming holes. The swimming holes are just magnificent, and there's plenty of changing rooms and bathrooms, and there's little trails that take you to all these different swimming holes. And then don't forget to go to the Mirador, which is the lookout point, which is literally about 500 meters straight up. And it is literally straight up, but it is a good trail with stairs, and you get the view of the entire area, and it is just precious. And then it's obviously 500 meters down. So if you're going to be doing, not counting the tubing, because that is kind of a little bit extra, just the swimming holes and the mirador, I would calculate a good 4 hours in the park itself. And it's a good 45 minutes from Lankeen to get there. So I would recommend at least 6 hours um, to calculate for the day. So you could leave in the morning, whenever you want, really, 9, 10. There's all like these different hours. And it's definitely something that is a must do. It's a must do thing, especially if you are here. And I would say the majority of people come here. This is as one of those things to do. And also, when you're staying in Lankeen, like I said, I have an entire podcast on that. The Lankeen caves, the bat caves, that is another completely must do thing to do. So make sure you listen to that episode to understand how to do the both as well while you are visiting. And if you guys have been to this area, please let me know if there's other things to do. And if you have any questions, if you enjoy this podcast, please share it with your friends. Leave me a review. And remember to make every day an adventure.